Hello and welcome to Train Sim World 3. Today we are back on the Edinburgh to Glasgow ScotRail Express route. That was easy for me to say. Hopefully you can hear the bagpipes being played in the background as this beautiful ScotRail Class 385 departs from Edinburgh Waverley. It's just, we're going to be speeding already. That's a good start. So this service should go to Dunblane, but obviously it isn't. Oh wow, look at that, spectacular. The route doesn't go that far. It will finish our service as far as Polmont, so hopefully we'll get a real good feel for what this end of the route feels like. If you haven't already checked out my first look, you'll see we drove from Glasgow Queen Street all the way to Edinburgh Waverley. So you can get, if you want to get a feel for the route, why don't you go over and check out that video. And if you're new here, why don't you hit that subscribe button and also hit the like button, because it really does make a difference. We best turn this train management system on. So for this you can just put in any old number. Doesn't really matter. You can get in. So as you can see, we are a class 385 in a 3-car formation today. So as you can see, we are a much shorter unit and we don't have first class either. That's the big difference between the 3 and the 4-car unit. We are playing with AWS on, so hopefully, there we go. It was almost like that was perfect timing. We should get the one in. We're in a 50 mile an hour. Oh, I'm not quite sure what happened to the lighting there, but that did not feel quite right. So I think Rivet Games need to take a look at that. Never mind. Although we have Haymarket up ahead next, so we need to be careful with this because the brakes on this 385 are interesting to say the least. They really are quite soft, I think. Certainly with this 3-car unit it feels a little bit more responsive than when I was driving the 8-car unit. So that's, I think, a real positive. We are slowing down quite nicely, just at 28%. At times I was having to, sort of, majority of the time I was having to go max on the brakes. So let's make sure we can hit our stop marker here. We are only a couple seconds late, although that is one thing that I am not a fan of. There's our stop marker, we've gone past it, that's okay. Is the 36 second due date, or due time in. That doesn't feel that correct, but you know, I'm happy to be corrected. So we'll have a short stop here at Haymarket before we depart. We're under a red aspect so far. Let's lock these doors. Obviously with the train management system you do get the cool feature of let's go customer info. It's quick and we'll go, this is
Haymarket.
It is. And we're departing. I do love those announcements. I'd love to see them auto-announce, and I'd also like to see it automatically done as well, instead of me having to sort of manually go in and select what I want to be played. It'd be very cool to see that automated, especially when we're coming up to a station or just leaving a station. But hey, there we are. Improvements for the future. This is only obviously the first iteration of a train management system with those kind of announcements. This 385 does look glorious in the sunlight like this. What do you think? I'm a big fan. So as we go past the maintenance depot here, it's quite sad to see it completely empty with no trains in, but yeah. Never mind. And obviously we have Hampton Park here to our right hand side. I'm pretty sure it's Hampton Park, which is very cool and very well modelled. A lot of the things as we come out of Edinburgh are very well modelled. That's one of the sort of key features that Rivet Games have really spent a lot of time doing the detail work in and around both Edinburgh and Glasgow, so it really is fantastic. So next up we have the next station of Lithgow, and that is 14 miles away. So we've got a little bit of a run until the next station, and then our final station after that, which will be Polmont before this service. We leave this service here, but this will go on to Dunblane. It's a shame to see Dunblane is not up in the passenger information screen here. I kind of would have expected it to say that, but there we go, never mind. So we're almost up to 100 miles an hour. This route does really look good. This is obviously as the sun is going down, so in the kind of golden hour. It really does feel like that. So, you know, credit to Rivet Games. They have sort of done the lighting really quite well. Obviously that's aided by obviously the new lighting introduced with Train Sim 3. There we go, you can see it's looking good. We're clipping through everything there. Let's take in to this side, I think. Got some really quite nice reflections. As we whiz through this station, I wonder if there is a more sort of kind of stopping service that stops at some of these stations we whiz through as an express service. It would be good to see them utilised. So the only kind of thing that the view out of this 385 is that it's quite limited. You don't get the full beauty of the route that's been implemented. So I think you may have to spend a lot of the time outside the cab to get a real good sense of what this route is like. I think unfortunately that is just down to the natural design of these 385s with the small windows. But it's also great to see that we've, you know, passed a couple of trains as well so far, so we get the sense that it is a busy route. Obviously I get the sense that actually there probably is more trains. You would see more frequent trains on this stretch of track, but obviously without them being modelled in the game, that's obviously just not possible. How have you been finding this route so far? If you let me know in the comments down below, I'd be really interested to hear what your thoughts. We'll be coming up to an 80 mile an hour section shortly. So to go from end to end, Glasgow to Edinburgh, Edinburgh to Glasgow, it can take anywhere between sort of 45 to 15 minutes. So good length. Certainly is, and once we get down to 80, I will show you the route map so you can see obviously what it's all about. So I think we'll start applying the brakes here, make sure we get down to 80. We're not in a 30, I think they might need to point, there's an arrow missing there. Perfect. So let's show you the route map. So as you can see, we started here in Waverley, we stopped in Haymarket, and then obviously we followed the route. We are here at the moment. Our next stop is Linlithgow, right here where the marker is, and then Polmont is just a little further on, and obviously this then goes further on to Glasgow Queen Street. So you can see dynamic weather at its best here. We obviously left Edinburgh with beautiful clear skies in the golden hour, but the fog has certainly set in now. We're going back up to 90 very shortly. It's cool. Unfortunately, the ambient sounds inside the cab just really are kind of, they feel like they're too loud and not really prototypical, perhaps for a such a modern train. So it really does need to be sort of taken a look at and just, I think, dialed down a bit. That way, one, will be able to obviously hear the announcements a lot easier, but also it doesn't just deafen you. So we're back up to almost 90 there. We'll just keep it in notch 2 for power. That should hopefully hold us around the 90 mark. We're only 6 miles now from our next stop, and we've got around just under 6 minutes to get there, so it feels like that's very doable at 90 miles an hour. Let's show you what else you can do in the train management system. Obviously you've got door selection, which again is a brand new feature. So if you overshoot, like I might do sometimes, you have the ability to, oh, that's that horrible lighting again, to select which doors you would like to open and not open, which is very cool. So manual door selection is very much a new feature that I think most players have been wanting for a while. I think certainly when you cast your mind back to some of the other routes in Train Sim World, when you do overshoot and you open the doors, all doors do open. Also in here you can, let's go, we are home. You can also do some uncoupling and also the saloon light, so you can go on and off. The lights are on, so that's all good. Also, we've got the DAS. Don't ask me what it stands for, unfortunately. I don't know. But that was showing as if we had no power on, which is not strictly true. But as you can see, as we notch up the power, obviously, you can see how much power is being applied, which is cool. We need to get back up to 100 miles an hour as soon as we can do so. We're blind, we don't want to see where we're going now. Of course we do. This loco is rated to 100, so we are really taking it up to its maximum speed. There we go. Oh wow, we've driven 72 miles. We've got a reward for it. I don't know what the significance of 72 is. If anyone knows, let me know. Oh, we're slightly speeding. Let's come off the power. Always helps if I press the right button. So ahead we can, we were going to be hitting a double yellow there, but it's just cleared as we approached. So we've got Linglithgow in just 2.3 miles. So I think about a mile out we'll start to consider braking. There we go. You can see the 385 in its glory. I say in its glory in the fog. Okay, so you can see ahead we've got another double yellow again, which hasn't cleared this time. So let's acknowledge that and we'll start braking. We'll get down to about 50 miles an hour, hopefully before we get to the next signal. That's what we'll aim for. Brakes are much better on this 3-car unit compared to the 4. It does feel a lot more realistic. There we go, so we've got a single yellow here, which we'll acknowledge, so we'll keep braking. Nice to see us coming up against some adverse signals. But we're just 0.6 a mile out of Linlithgow, so we'll be fine for this. We won't overshoot because we've already slowed down. and we see the station in the distance there just about. So clearly the next signal is on the other side of the station, which is fine. I think that's the station ahead of us. Yeah, it probably isn't it? There it is. I think we were seeing those stone walls initially. And we're going to be ahead of time as well. So even though we departed slightly late, we've made up the time. Oh, we're slightly short. There we go. There we go. And full brakes, please. Those brakes are a lot better. So this is Linlithgow. So one of the other sort of main features of this route is that Rivet Games have gone into a lot of detail when it comes to the stations, which it's really sort of beautifully decorated. There's a lot more explorable areas. So you can see here we've got, I guess, kind of a bit of a waiting room and some stairs to the underpass. Yeah, very nice, very nice, really well modelled. Let's be locking our doors. And we are going to pop ourselves just up here, I think, as we watch the 385 depart for Polmont, which is next. So let's just get rid of the HUD. And we'll give you a blast of the horn while we're at it as well. There we go. So we should be full power out of the station. Very nice. And away we go. Let's get the HUD back on. So we're back under green aspects. And we'll be going into a 90. The one thing I have noticed is there's no warning boards in terms of going up and down certain speed limits. I don't know if that's an omission or that's not there in real life. I'd expect them to be there. Unless it's just relying on the driver's knowledge of the route to know when to obviously slow for certain speed limits. Not sure. So up next, Polmont, 3.8 miles. So this is really quite a short run to Polmont, especially as we're going to be up to 90/100 miles an hour. I think we are going to go over a nice viaduct here. There we go. Although it's slightly ruined by the fog, unfortunately. But as we say, that's the beauty of dynamic weather. And there we go, there's 100 again, so let's get back on the power. We've certainly made up, we're certainly making some good time here. It's nice to see some regular... Oh, an 8-car 385 going in the opposite direction. So just under 2 miles now. Not far for our final station, where we will hand over to another driver who takes it all the way to Dunblane. Double yellow, so let's start to brake here. We'll sit around the 50% sort of brake in. We are losing some speed, which is good. Slowing nicely now. We're definitely doing under 90, which is all good. We have got a single yellow, so I think we need to be a little bit more aggressive on the brakes since we're still doing 50. So, next up will be Pond, which will be our final stop, and I think the red is going to be at the end of the platform, so we're all good. It would be nice to be held at some signals, maybe in and around Edinburgh and Glasgow, while we're waiting for trains in front of us perhaps to clear. Here we are, and this is Polmont. Let's see if we can get a better view. Relatively small station. We'll just roll on a little bit further. And we can see our stop marker just at the end of the platform there. Go. We're going to be pretty much spot on. Let's unlock the doors, and that's our objective complete. So hopefully we should be picking up a gold medal here, fingers crossed. Let's zoom in a little bit on this lovely 385. I think the more I'm driving them now, I'm certainly getting a lot more fond of them. Certainly the 3-car units are a lot more enjoyable to drive than those sort of 8 cars that really didn't want to stop. And there we go. What did we get? It's got to be gold. Of course it is. If you like this one, hit the like button and also subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.